Hey everybody, it's your boy Captain Hunter coming at you again. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Really appreciate it. Before we get started, make sure you do me a favor, and that is hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Let's make it do what it gotta do. Let's make sure the channel is going and growing. I gotta give a lot of love and shout out to my man Passport OG for his in-depth analysis of the situation that is going on here in America. So before we get into what Passport OG said, let's just give a little bit of context. After the Jonathan Majors incident, I had a long conversation with my son, as a father should do, concerning what we should do and how we should live, move, and operate within the dating market. Right. So Jonathan Majors, as we know, was convicted of assault and harassment, and we know that more than likely that there was a few things going on, particularly with the harassment, right? The prosecution successfully proved, at least to a jury, that there was an ongoing situation concerning harassment that was going on for weeks, if not months. Okay, great. But now, so I having a conversation with my son about where we should move from here. How should we move about the world? How should we, what should we do about this in context? How do we put this in context? And what do I tell my son about how to move, live, operate, and date amongst the so-called, or once called, fairer sex? So, as with many other people, the idea was that we should get away from, or strictly, I should say it like this, we should strictly date within our race. Okay, I am not a proponent of this, but it certainly is a conversation that needs to be had. If there's always going to be this level of uncertainty concerning who you're with, how you're going to be viewed, who's going to stop you, who's going to approve of you, et cetera, right? Particularly if you're a black man dating a white woman, right? There's always this power dynamic, and there's always this looking over your shoulder. There's always this way about which would you have to move. Whether it's real or not, it is a perceived, and what is perception is often reality to those individuals. Okay. So we get fast forward to the Simone Biles situation. Simone Biles being the much heralded and rightfully so Olympic gold medalist, who is one of America's darlings. One could say, I think she's a very, very attractive dark-skinned woman. I remember during her Olympic trials and everything like that, people were talking about her hair and all kind of foolishness. And this is the things that we focus on and concentrate within this particular community. And as we stick in this particular community, and as we stay in this particular community, we recognize now that Simone Biles, a few, I guess, years ago, I don't really follow them or whatever, but she has now been married to an NFL player, the creme de la creme of masculinity, of success concerning sports athleticism, right? The cream of the crop, the NFL, the not for long. If you don't make it, you got to cut the mustard. You got to do what you have to do in order to stay here, to be here, to prove yourself here, day in, day out, 2-a-day practices, stay healthy, eat right, all this kind of stuff, and be the picture perfect idea of what it takes to be an aggressive, assertive man, to be on top of your game, the pinnacle, the top. You get my point. So her husband goes on an interview and says that he is the prize and that all men are the prize. And this creates a storm, a fecal storm of controversy, particularly among some members of the African American community, in particular the lovely ladies of the African American community. So if you have not seen that, I'm going to play a brief clip. I got this from someone else. I didn't actually go to the actual interview. I'm not interested in sitting through 50 minutes of it. So this is actually a clip, and it's a still, but nevertheless, you can hear what the man is saying, and you can certainly go to the original to find the original clip and listen to it in its entirety.
Let me see what this is. Gymnastics. I never really paid attention to gymnastics, so it piqued my curiosity, So I'm like, okay, that's. I swiped her, and it said we matched. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna see what's up. So I go do my workout, and I come back, and I get I had some likes on my Instagram, and I'm like, oh, this might be. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna wait till I, take a shower and everything. Then I come back to my phone, and then she messages me on the app like, hey, you know what I mean? And I'm man, this gotta be fake. Like, I don't know. I didn't know who she was at the time, but like the first thing that I saw was that she just had a bunch of followers. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, she gotta be good. I promise you, I'm a real life story. When she won the Olympics, I was in college and we didn't have NBC, we didn't have Olympic channels, and we're in camp. Late July, early August, so I'm not paying attention to, so I never would have had a moment to where I would have watched like.
Jonathan, I'm gonna let you finish your story, man. Continue.
But like I was saying, man, she messaged me. This was like a Tuesday, and we were texting back and forth, and then we hung out Friday, man. And we couldn't do much. Just what happened, everything was shut down. So she came through down to Houston. She lived in the suburbs, so she had to drive about 45 minutes to me. Then the rest is history, man. So
you was really the catch in.
I always say the men the catch, man. I always say we the catch, man.
Yeah. So she really booked you.
She did though.
Is what you're saying?
Because I was fighting it. So
in truth, if I say this out loud, was Jonathanowens ain't really want Simone Biles, is what you're saying.
At the time, I'm not gonna say that.
That's what you're saying.
I was afraid. I was afraid to commit. I'm like, this is my third year. I'm trying to. I'm like, it's kind of early. But like I said, man, it happened when you least expected, and we hung out, man. It was like we hit it off instantly. We just laughed the whole night.
Now, it's my understanding that Miss Biles was sitting there the whole time, listening to this type of, listening to exactly what the man was saying. Now, something that I really want to harp on or bring to light, not harp on, but bring to light, is that it's a hashtag Simone Biles husband. There is a deliberate attempt to disrespect and disregard, really to try to disregard the entitlement or the cultural norms that we have been set up on. And that is that a woman takes the man's last name for protection, for provision. Women are saying we don't need your protection and or provision anymore. We want to be partners and we don't want to be wives. That's a story for another time. Something I'm going to do about that when I get a little bit of time. So I really want to concentrate on this matter of Simone Biles' husband. Before I continue on with the rest of this podcast, I want to take a moment here to pause and think about Simone Biles' husband. The man has a name. This is a further type of disrespect that has been going on and gearing towards the community. This is a pause just for that. Listen, I understand that tradition often and rules are often made to be broken and bucked against. I get that. But there seems to be an attempt to go the exact opposite way, not to even things out. If this was just, Jonathanowens' wife or husband of Simone Biles, but in this post, as you can see right here, it's just husband. His name is irrelevant. He's a nobody. He's a nothing. You black women are the prize. Don't ever forget that. And this man is a nothing and a nobody. He's not a nothing. He's not a nobody. He is a name. He's a man. He's in the NFL. He deserves respect for the accomplishments that he has made and is continuing to make. Absolute craziness. Let me unpause here. Okay, so now we saw how Miss Simone Biles has said that she is the prize, right? So that her husband is the prize. So in an interview with Simone Biles' husband, Jonathanowens, he says that he is the prize. He says that not only he's the prize, but all men are the prize. Blows up the internet. I'm surprised it's still here concerning these particular comments, especially out of a black man's mouth, right? Is he the prize, right? Or is he just another dusty guy who is unworthy of love, respect, and particular respect, right? Should he not be respected for his market value, so-called? So this to me really is a deeper issue that we have to address. If I'm having a conversation with my son about where we go from here, do you stay or continue to date within your race, or do you move along and do something differently, or do you expand your options to go overseas, to date people outside your race. What do you do? How do you navigate this rough terrain of not going too far, making sure it's not sexual harassment, not stalking, right? So you have to navigate this minefield of mind reading to try to figure out what's going on and make sure that you don't get caught up in the system. So I got to navigate that, and I have to help my son and my daughter too to navigate this type of battlefield that we got going on here. And so once we think we have it figured out, right? And I tell my son, and this is what my channel is about: becoming the best version of yourself. Become the best version of yourself. But to what end? To what end do we have to become the best versions of ourselves? To what end? What is the goal of that? You can become a Jonathan Owens. You can become a CEO. You can and still, what do you get for that? What do you get for that? Let me play some of the stitchings together that my man Passport OG has put together.
But when you ask the women, okay, well, you want these freedoms, but you also want a generous provider. What will you do to reciprocate, to show your interest, love, respect for the other person? It's crickets.
In the particular video that I'm going to stop here, I'm not going to play Passport OG stuff. I want you to go to his channel and actually watch it for yourself. But in this video, he talks about an end of the year custom that goes on in Japan, where I believe he's living now. He talks about how women actually respect their men and pour beers for them. Go to the channel, watch the video so you can understand exactly the exact context in which they acknowledge the respect that they have for men in general and for their man, right? And so once you have that level of respect, they do things for them. But that seems to be completely turned on its head within our particular community. And we had to figure out why that is. Why is it so triggering that for this man, Jonathan Owens, an NFL player of all people, to say that he is the prize and that men are the prize? Why is that so triggering to individuals? And I don't like this prize talk. Let me just get that out front. I don't like this prize talk. Well, if you're a guy, right, and you meet a beautiful woman, she is the love of your life. She's everything that you want as far as femininity, her whatever it is that you're looking for. And she is all of those things, and she is certainly the prize to you. So honor her, respect her, love her, dote on her, do all those types of things. No issues, no problems with that. But we need to receive the same amount of respect as well. And if, according to the late great Kevinsamuels, if there is a dearth of good, eligible, respectable, high value, whatever that means, men, if there is a dearth of that, if there's a low amount of those in society, wouldn't it mean that those men are the prize? Wouldn't it mean, right, if the average man, and you walk down the street and the average guy is making between $40,000 and $60,000, is 5'9", right? That's the average guy in the United States. He's going to be making $40,000 to $60,000. Just round it out to 50. He's going to be making $50,000. He's going to be 5'9" inches tall. May or may not. I don't even think still that it's the average. He may not even have a college degree, right? That's the average guy. So that would mean that anybody who's got a master's degree, making over $100,000, he's over 6 feet tall, is above average. That means that he would have to be the prize somehow. Now, Simone Biles, who is the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, herself finds a man who is taller than her, making, if not as much money as her, and is in the NFL, for God's sakes. If he shouldn't be worthy of respect, then what do I tell my son? What do we tell our young boys? Work yourselves up, become something for what? Let's continue on with the video.
Competent men who contribute to society are a prize.
But this is what happens when women pursue men. They think that they're the prize. You can't convince this man that she's not lucky to be with him. We don't even know who he is. We don't even know who he is. Besides being Simone Biles' husband, we don't even know who he is. And he's still thinking, yeah, she's lucky she have found me. Is she?
This is what we're dealing with. Now, let's put this in context. Let me ask a question here. How big of a problem is this? I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever be able to figure it out. This may be something that's completely happening on the internet and the YouTube streets. May not be going on in any other platform, Rumble, whatever other platforms are out there. I don't know. Out of the roughly 21, 22 million ladies who exist in the United States, let's say between 18 and 45 or so, let's say it's like 12 to 13 million, right? Because other ones are over the age of 46 and the other ones are under the age of 17, right? So let's try to eliminate some people. How many of those people are in this space? How many of those people are watching these types of videos, liking these type of videos, agreeing with these type of videos, clicking on them, subscribing to them, and feel the way that she does? I don't know what that percentage would be. I don't think it's half. I don't think it's good, but there is an element out there who thinks like that young woman just said. There is an element out there who thinks that she does. And just because you don't watch the NFL, or just because she doesn't watch the NFL, doesn't know who the man is, doesn't mean that nobody knows who he is, particularly for the men. And certainly some ladies who want this type of man may be watching NFL and trying to get a brother like that. So this idea that we don't know who he is and all this kind of stuff, man, it's just, what is going on within our community?
We don't even know who he is. Besides being Simone Biles' husband, we don't even
No, he's an NFL player. The cream of the crop. That's who he is. That's who he is.
know who he is, and he's still thinking, yeah, she lucky she have found me.
And she is. A man who's on his game, on his grind, doing his thing, making his money, taller than she is, doing what he has to do, good looking, all the different aspects, the sixes that these ladies want, and still going to treat her light and so she can smile on her wedding day. What's wrong with that? And he is the prize to her, and she is the prize to him. What's wrong with that? Why is this an issue? Why is this triggering? Is it just for clicks and baits? Maybe I'm just falling into the trap of we're all just going to make a bunch of videos. Oh, let's new story. Let's all just jump on here. But what does this do for the collective of our community? What does this do for the collective of our collective image? As Passport OG said, you look at what's going on in Japan during their end of the year celebrations. What does that do for the collective of what our community looks like to other people? Number one, what does it look like to us? And what does it look like to other people? Are other people just popping popcorn, just watching the dumpster fire that is the African-American community? Are other black individuals who come here from Ethiopia and Eritrea and Nigeria and Sudan and wherever they're coming from, in the Bahamas and Jamaica and all, they're just coming here just looking at this dumpster fire that we got going on about who the art prize is in the relationship? And outwardly disrespecting men.
You was really the catch in.
I always say the men the catch, man. I always say we the catch, man.
Yeah, so she really booked you.
She did, though.
Is what you're saying.
Watching reaction to Jonathan Owens saying that he was the prize in his courtship of gold medalist Simone Biles only solidifies what I came to see and understand while watching the magic of Japanese social structure pair men and women together. Jonathan Owens committed the cardinal sin that no black man is allowed to make. He considers himself a prize. The uniform reaction to him thinking he's the prize is simply, how dare he think that?
And I asked him, I said, no, do you think that it's fair, like to say, oh, we don't need men are incapable of love, all of the things and the things and the things, but still expect to have a provider. It's weird. It doesn't make sense when you think about it in your heart of hearts. So I think we're a little bit schizophrenic in that we are saying all these empowering things, but deep down, I don't know if we're really ready to cross that threshold.
So what this lady was saying is that you want all these things. You want a leader, protector, provider, alpha male, all these different physical attributes that you want. 6 feet tall, yada, 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 making all this money. And then when you get that, and you know that you're that, right? Because part of being an alpha male is knowing who you are, who and what you are. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. These are my accomplishments. These are the things that I can do. This is my wheelhouse. This is my repertoire. This is what I'm good at, right? Being able to articulate that and being able to show off those things. And then when you know that, right, as this man knows, right, she pursued me, I'm in the NFL, et cetera, when you know that, and then you're confident in that, this becomes problematic for certain individuals.
And celebrating when he finds one that all but cements the fact that the common working man is indeed the prize, an idea revolting to the black community.
But even if he truly didn't know.
Let me just pause it right there. Think about what he just said. Think about what Passport OG just said. An ordinary working man in Japan is good. He's a prize. I can settle down with this man. But this idea is revolting in the United States. And the Western woman, or Western black woman in particular, probably the Western woman, period. And when you know this is revolting to you. And you can't figure out what people are jumping up to get their blue books and get out of here.
The fact that the common working man is indeed the prize, an idea revolting to the black community.
But even if he truly didn't know who she was, his insistence on having the audience know that is a poor attempt to dim her light. Because the reality is, we don't know who he is. Apparently, he's a pro athlete, but we all know him as Simone Biles' husband. I think his real problem is that despite benefiting from the patriarchy, light skin privilege, and the perks of being a pro athlete, he has a beautiful black wife who out-earns him and is more accomplished and recognizable than he'll ever be. And that has to be doing a number on his inflated ego.
Now, how do you know that? This man could be the next NFL great, all-time whatever, making endorsement money far exceeding hers. I don't know what Simone Biles makes or what her prospects are for the future. I don't know. What do professional athletes usually accumulate gymnasts make after? Do they open up their own schools and market themselves? I don't know. I don't know. But how does she know all this type of stuff?
But we all know him as Simone Biles' husband. I think his real problem is that despite benefiting from the patriarchy, light skin privilege, and the perks of being a pro athlete, he has a beautiful black wife who out-earns him and is more accomplished and recognizable than he'll ever be. And that has to be doing a number on his inflated ego.
Women want women are very much behind the new paradigm that I spoke about before. They are enjoying their newfound freedoms. They feel free to express themselves more about what they want in relationships.
Look at her face. Look at the way she looks at him. He's not wrong. He is the prize for her. He is the prize to be won, and she treats him that way, which is why he feels the way he feels, moves the way he moves, thinks the way he thinks. And I'm going to tell you something else. The vast majority of black women act this way with their men. Black women act like they got some prize because they got some cheating ass no account that everybody else can get to.
There are things in tradition.
Wow. This is the context. I want to fast forward here. I don't want to steal all of Passport OG's thunder here. Let's try to get this one.
A little bit entitled.
Why shouldn't a woman go 50% with a man?
Because the man, they want that 100% respect, but you're doing 50-50. You can't get 100% respect or that title of, the man of the household when your woman is doing 50%. What are you providing? Nothing. Women should not pay 50% of the bills because we do so much other stuff.
So let them pay the 100% of the bills, and if you can't get that love and respect, listen, I wouldn't even vie for it. I wouldn't even vie for it. Man, things have changed, right? You can't be considered the man in the house because you're not economically viable and feasible, and that is an unfortunate reality of our world today. And I think that's all the clips I wanted to play. And I'm going to give it back. I'm going to finish it off there. So go to Passport OGs, watch the video, right? Because he contrasts the exact entitled attitude that these ladies have here, that they're demonstrating here, with the Japanese culture and their end of the year celebrations of pouring on wine, pouring on beer, for a decent, hardworking man. So let me just finish off with this. Where do we go from here? Number one, I'm going to ask the question, how big of a problem is this? I honestly do not know. And I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm not going to pretend like I have the answer, because I truly, honestly do not know how big of a problem this is. But why did I put this together? Because after the Jonathan Majors situation, I'm having a conversation with my son about where we go from here. How do we move? How do we live? How do we operate in this world? How do you navigate and stay out of jail, stay out of problems? And if the answer is dating within your community, then this is the type of community that I'm asking my son to involve himself with, to enmesh himself in. And I can't say that I would agree, that I would want him dealing with any person who thinks like that. Now, let me also be very, very clear. I don't know how big of a problem this is. Is this only an internet problem? If you turn off the internet, and I've made videos about this, and if you turn off the internet and turn off social media and you get out into the real world, you'll see short guys walking around with short girls. You'll see short guys walking around with taller girls. You see a big guy with a big gut who's walking around with a beautiful woman. I went to a couple of vacations. I went to Virginia Beach and other places that I've been, and I've seen this type of thing. So I'm not convinced that this is wholly taking over the collective mindset of every single Western woman and Black women in particular. But I am wondering how big it is going and how big it is growing. And you have to be very, very careful about what you consume. Let me end off with this. Be very, very careful about what you consume, because you will become what you are, what you eat. Not only what you put in your mouth physically, but also what you allow your body to digest through your eyes and through your ears. Be careful of the diet that you are consuming, and a diet too much of this toxic foolishness will have you running for the hills, will have you scared, will have you acting and reacting in these types of ways. Why can't men and women both be the prize? Why can't we have love and respect for each other? You bring something to the table, I bring something to the table. Let's sit down and let's have a feast together. And yes, I think that a man should be a protector and provider. I have no problems and issues with that. That is the way that I have operated, and the way I want to continue to operate, to protect, to provide, and pay the majority, if not all, of the bills. I've always done that for my own relationship. So that's all I got to say. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. How big of a problem is this? Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Passport OG, much love and respect. And to everyone out there, much love and peace.